All right, everybody, welcome back. We did miss the first part of the banning phase. Like what St. Clair has been banning already, we do have TF, Fiora, and Lee Sin. Probably Lee Sin from the last game, which honestly, that Lee Sin did have some nice plays. And then on the state side, we do have Tark, Yone, and Victor again. St. Clair is going to first pick Jinx yet again. I'm so happy. What do you
They're three in
think?
a row. I definitely think they're very comfortable on it. They're happy to put Barlow on that one. And despite the change in sides, we are going to see Victor banned out yet again on the red side. And I think that is just a permaban. He is, by and large, the best mid laner right now in the meta. He did get Arcane buffed, so it is what it is. But
For sure.
I do like Lee Sin adaptation as well. I think his impact might not have been felt so much because of the crazy plays that the Zoe was making, but I think he was a lot of that facilitation in the early game and didn't really allow Ehug to do too much because his clear was fast. He was able to get out to lanes more often. So
Yeah. They are going to pick the Zaya and Rakan this time, which honestly, the weird thing is that you expect them to do so well together, but it's like I feel like they both do well with other champions together. It's really strange.
yeah, I think it is interesting to think about that element because for so long it has just been like if you have Xayah and Rakan is open, you're gonna take Rakan.
For
But I
sure.
think over the years, a lot of people have adapted to the fact that Rakan can be used for a lot of other stuff as well. So
Mhm.
I do like the Xayah Rakan pick here, and it's gonna be Jinx and Braum picked up. So
Wow.
no Lulu in this game. We are gonna get a Braum at a fresh, and that is something different. And I think it is in response to the Zyra Khan because I think definitely Jink Lulu would struggle into that lane pretty heavily.
Yeah, for sure. The Braum is definitely a great pick with Jinx. I love it so much. It's probably one of my favorite matchups of like duos of all time to get both of them together.
Yeah, and it's not as exposed as a Jinx Lulu would be, right? Because if that
Mhm.
Rakan goes on you, has the ultimate, it is pretty much just a free kill. We are gonna get the Darius coming through again for Ricky. I think that is a pretty good pickup here. I like the fact that they're saving Ehug's pick for the second phase because it gives you a lot more flexibility. And I think the fact that you can go on Darius here is big because Ricky um wasn't amazing on it in the first game. I think as the game turned on later on, he was looking a lot better on it. But early
For
game, he did
sure.
get zoned out by the Gnar. We do see the Jace hovered here. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that picked up. Actually, we could see the Gnar as well.
Yeah. The Jace is definitely is to me it is a weird pick because I don't see Jace as a good spot even now. I know that his he also was included in the arcane buff, but I feel like he isn't able to put out as much team fight support as much as he should.
Yeah, I think a lot of times it is tough to see the Jace value, but I think a lot of it is actually just negating what Darius wants to do early game. The fact that you have range and
Mhm.
throughout levels 1 to 6, you can fight back against Darius and can win. It is not easy to do, but it is
Yeah.
definitely possible here. And the fact that he can safely farm against Darius is big. And just like Gnar, it's the fact that you don't have to walk up and melee minions. You can sit back and just range out of them and negate a lot of what Darius wants to do to you in the early game.
Yeah, we do see the Zoe, Vex, and Viego ban, and then also the Xerath ban as the very last one, which honestly, I'm
I
surprised that
think
they
Serenok
didn't.
might be a Xerath
Uh,
player, so that might be why they're banning it out.
yeah,
Most likely. The fact that it's been
probably.
banned out 2 games kind of makes sense, but they are going to ban out Zoe too. Not too surprised by that one. The fact that he
For
blind
sure.
picked Zoe and was just smurfing all over St. Clair does mean they're going to have to change it up, but we are going to see a Jarvan, possibly. Yeah, there's going to be a Jarvan pick coming through, so 3 different junglers here for Bay State in all 3 games.
This is definitely going to be interesting because with the J4 ulti, you're definitely going to have a lot of lockdown.
Ooh,
One thing that I'm confused about
really?
now is that we're seeing a Mundo, and we do already have the Darius pick,
I
so I'm wondering if that's a Mundo jungle.
So I've actually I was playing Clash this weekend, and it actually
Okay.
happened in a couple of games. Mundo is gonna be locked in. They played Mundo mid, and Mundo right now is just so it's never
Oh,
mind.
wow.
It's gonna be a Mundo jungle, I think. So Ehug gonna give
Ehug's
us
really.
something different. I
Hmm.
can't say I haven't seen Mundo jungle since pre-rework, like a long time ago, like beginning of the
Yeah,
season.
me
He was
too.
strong, but that would be interesting.
And I do kind of find it funny
Oh,
that.
it could be Darius jungle too.
Oh, yeah, that is part of the meta, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that would
this is
this.
going to be extremely interesting. The mid laner for St. Clair did choose LeBlanc this time, and then Bay State did choose Malzahar. Malzahar is going to be a little bit of a problem. Their Bay State has a really, really good comp.
Yeah, I think they have a really, really good team fight potential, especially early on. I think the Jace Jarvan combo is going to be very strong.
Mm-hmm.
But I think St. Clair has drafted something very interesting, and I'm
For sure.
wondering what these positions are going to be for these. Obviously, LeBlanc going to be in the mid lane, but it could be a Darius or a Mundo jungle. And I think Mundo right now is just such a strong champion that you can put
Mm-hmm.
him in the jungle or put him in the top lane. And he's viable in both.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely gonna look like it's a protect the Jinx and the Blanc
Yeah.
comp. You get what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like they definitely saw that he was able to put out as much damage as he could and was able to help out with the first game as like even though from being so behind, and I think that they're finally going to let him get the the center
Hmm.
stage.
Yeah, and I mean, looking forward to the fact that I think Sernok locked in Syndra as the last pick.
Yeah.
So they don't really have. Oh, Malzahar, sorry. So they
Yeah.
don't really have a lot of backline access for the side of Bay State, right? So you have to shred through the front line, and you have a Mundo and Darius, so it isn't going to be easy to shred through that front line. And for St. Clair, you do have Barlow hitting for free on the back line on that Jinx is going to be massive.
For
Um,
sure.
I think team fight wise, it is going to be very interesting to see how these comps play out. I think obviously St. Clair with a pretty decent front line there, but Bay State have the tools to be able to take advantage of it if they put it out correctly.
Yeah, that's the other thing. With a comp like that, you do have to play it extremely well, but we will be able to see it's a
Oh, it is
Mundo top and Darius
Darius jungle.
jungle.
I like that. We haven't seen any
Oh,
Darius jungle from Meat Hug.
it's
It
definitely going to
did.
be
It
interesting.
got grouped up there when they added a lot more champions in the jungle. They added Garen jungle,
Yeah.
Zed jungle, a bunch of mages into the jungle, and Darius was one of the people that got a jungle buff as well, so it could be viable. And to be honest, I haven't really seen it almost anywhere,
Mhm.
but I really like the fact that they're bringing it out now because it's such an unknown factor that Bay State gonna have a lot of question marks around it. Not really sure they're gonna know how to play it.
For sure. I never know how to play against it whenever I play personally because it's just like, oh, it's Darius jungle, so you don't expect it to do that well. And then he comes to your lane and you're like, what is going on?
He provides a lot that a jungler would want, right? Like you have the
Yeah.
hook, so you have the CC availability. You have obviously a ton of damage early,
Mhm.
and his clear is actually pretty decent, and he heals up so much from the camps that when he goes into a lane, it's not like he's going to lane at half HP like a lot of these other like odd
Yeah.
junglers might. He's going to lane with full HP, and I mean we've seen him play the Gwen jungle. We've seen him play a lot of weird jungles, so I'm not too surprised by this, but. You're pulling out in game 3 of the grand finals. That I am a little surprised about.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be an interesting game. Again, I feel like, as you stated earlier, as long as they play this comp right, it could definitely work out. But the one thing is that all of the CC that Bay State has, that is either purely for LeBlanc or it's purely for Jinx. Because there's no point to use it against a tank.
Yeah.
It's not going to do as much. Luckily, they do have their Rakan, though, who can charm the entire team, but he just has to hope that he gets it all off, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be really hard to get that backline. And the fact that you have Braum is actually huge, too, because a lot of what Zion wants to do is pop that ult down and get it on multiple
For
teams.
sure.
But if Braum can shield that one up, that would be a difference maker in these fights. And it's going to be interesting to me. There's a lot to watch in this game because I think the fact that Fresh off the Lulu onto the Braum, a little bit of a different approach to the game. And the Darius jungle is just a big, fat question mark for me. It could be really good. Could be an
Hmm.
exclamation mark, or it could be a period, and it could just fall flat. So it's going to be interesting to
Yeah.
see how that one turns out.
I'm really curious to see how this one turns out because, yet again, I feel like St. Clair always likes the late game comps where
Yeah.
as long as Bay State can hit their ult or level 6 really fast, they'll be able to control the game pretty damn well.
Yeah, I think so too. It really depends how Darius is in this early game, right? I think that
Yeah.
is going to determine the agency of the champions from Bay State. And I mean, Jinx for Barlow, he's gotten it 3 games in a row, obviously very comfortable on it. Hasn't done too
Hmm.
badly on it. We did see his one, unfortunately, didn't get to see his actual snipe there on the last game, but I think that first game showed how good he was on it. So looking forward in game number 2, I think it's going to be interesting to see how he does on that pick, see how it plays into this team comp, because the one thing that he does have here is the range advantage.
Yeah, for sure. That's the one thing. Like going even Ash and Braum, I feel like that would have been a really good choice too
Mhm.
because they both slow. You can get your autos off really fast for that Braum passive and be able to get all that damage in that you need.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Fresh plays this Braum because he's been on Lulu. I think he's looked pretty good on Lulu in the games that they've played. I think that last one obviously was really just a Zoe finding picks across the map and it just
Yeah.
speed run the game. But I think that first one we got to see a lot more of what St. Clair has to offer, and Fresh on that Lulu looked really good. So a
Mhm.
change up here, but Ehug, an unorthodox jungle. We've seen it before. It's been very successful for him. So I'm interested to see how this is going to work out because Darius jungle is definitely not something we see too often.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting because I'm wondering. I know that you said that his clears are decent, but for me, I don't know why it's so hard for me to wrap my head around. I just can't imagine it, but I guess I could because of his isn't it his Q where he
Yeah.
swings around? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. And I mean, if you're looking over, obviously, I think the Jarvan will have faster wave clear
Yeah.
or faster jungle clear. Will be able to get ganks off more often, but it is really about the quality of your ganks that you're getting off as a Jarvan, right? Because
Mhm.
you can have a little bit of, you can have a big impact in a game if you can get off a lot of good quality ganks, but if you're constantly going to lane stealing XP as a Jarvan, you really do fall off around the mid game mark. So if
Mhm.
you're not able to push your team ahead early and get to a point where they can carry you for the rest of the game, and you're just building tank, then you kind of just become a useless partner. We've seen it multiple times in the last couple weeks of the season and even in playoffs where you have this Jarvan and he's very impactful early game, or he's kind of impactful early game. You get to the mid game, you get to the late game, he's EQing in and he really just
Mhm.
has the ult and then he's dead. So it is
Yeah.
essentially playing. You get your Cataclysm and that's all the effect you have on a late game team fight.
For sure. Definitely the what I'm expecting is that Bay State's gonna go extremely hard in on the fucking on sorry on the team fights whenever they do go in. It's gonna be the J4 ulti and then it's gonna be their Con W and his ulti as well. And who knows what's gonna Zaya's gonna try and do in the middle of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one for sure, and I really can't give a prediction on this one because I like to, but the fact that there's a Darius jungle in the game just gives me such huge question marks because I don't know whether it's going to be strong in the early game, whether you're going to get to the mid game and he's hits his two item spike and he's going to be super strong, or what in the world's going on. So I love the fact that they're doing this in finals, though it is something like you cannot prepare for this if you are the side of Bay State because there's
For sure.
no records of it anywhere. Nobody is playing it. It's not on any high tier lists. Like it isn't something orthodox that or normal that they're playing. But for St. Clair, if it's something they practice, something they've looked at, especially if Ehug hasn't practicing himself, it could be very effective, and it's something very unexpected that you're seeing from them.
For sure. It's definitely gonna be an interesting game to say the least. I feel like as much as our comp for St. Clair is gonna be protect the Jinx, I feel like the Zaya also has a lot of protection herself.
Mhm.
Even though and they also have the damage from the Malzahar, and that's able to stop LeBlanc as long as he can get the right clone.
Yeah, for sure. It is going to be all about that pick. But we really have talked about Sephiroth LeBlanc, and last time we saw it, it was really, really good. I think every time we've seen it's been pretty good. He did have an
Mhm.
off game one, but other than that, like he's been
Yeah, for
excellent
sure.
on this LeBlanc, and I think he is going to have a little bit more of a struggle this game finding some clear pick potential. I think the Zaya ult and the Malzahar ult are going to be very, very strong against him. He's not going to have an easy inroad to finding that, but I think if he can get towards that late game, if he can do what we saw the mid laner for Bay State doing in that first game, I think that is really going to be a difference maker because if he's chunking out people like that, that is going to be huge. But here we go, game number 3. Teams at 1 win apiece looking to try and find an advantage, trying to bring this to match point in the NECC Grand Finals for League of Legends.
I am really excited for this last game because it's definitely going to be something different. We can see the Mundo trying to get in some small damage on Jace here while they do know where each other are. Looks like the Mundo already got hit.
Yeah, he did take a little bit of poke damage there, but his mode he'll heal it back up by the time minions come across. And
For sure.
surprisingly, this game, no invade, try for an invade here for the side of Bay State. They're just going to go standard,
Mhm.
not going to go for anything too crazy. And I think it is the fact that you're on game 3 now. It isn't a lot of predictions in general. We're
For
going to
sure.
be Bay State 3-0ing the series, and St. Clair finding a way in that first game to take it out. Second game they did falter, but now it is really just a 3-game series, right? You have to win 2 out of the next 3, and oh, this could be really, really sneaky here. They're going to walk into this bush. Jace is moving forward. He hasn't moved forward too far just yet, so I think he'll be okay, but I think they want to go for this Jarvan on the red buff.
I think so too. It looks like they're definitely going to try and go around. They know that the J4 is by himself. The Darius is going to go in with the slow. Mundo's going to hit the slow too, and J4 is going to have to flash over the wall and get his red buff stolen from him early.
They know that he's up here too, so the bot lane going to be sitting in that bush, but they know. So already a flash burn for the Jarvan early. Darius going to pick up some jungle for free here, and he's forced to go all the way to his blue buff. And I mean, that's really, really strong for St. Clair. The fact that you can walk in there, it's going to be a stun coming through. Oh, Harbella going to flash away from it. Ignite going to come down soon. Brain going to walk away here, but Ignite going to come down anyway. Will they find this kill? No, they're not going to walk in for it. Ricky fighting Bedge here early on as well. Q going to find him. Ricky, full HP here. Bedge down very, very low. Going to go for the Q. Going to go for the auto first blood claim
Nice.
by Ricky again. Ricky finding his first blood in the top lane on this Mundo. Such a huge advantage here. And St. Clair winning all across the map to start this game off.
Ricky has almost gotten a first blood all 3 games. That's
Just what he
incredible.
does. Oh,
Here comes the
hugs.
Darius hunting for the J4.
Oh, goes for the flash, but doesn't land it. But Dragon Kim's still down pretty low. Flash gonna come through. Ehug gonna find that kill before he can EQ out. Root gonna come through, but Ehug's still pretty full HP, and with double buffs will survive. So St. Clair, so much activity here in the early game, finding picks all across the map, and this is exactly what I like to see. And I love this pick from Ehug. It is doing so well for them early on in this game. The fact that Jarvan's on 4 farm, he's already had a kill and taken 2 of his camps, now 3 of his camps. Like, this is just going to be such a struggle for this Jarvan.
And you can even see that he's even going to his wolves right now to take a 4th one, I believe.
Yeah, and the fact that Jarvan has started on Krogus means it's going to take so much longer for him to even reach level 2.
He is level 2 right now. And
Oh, he is? Okay.
Ehug's already level 3, so who knows how long it's going to be. J4's going to try and walk into Ehug's jungle here and see if he can snag the blue buff while he's up there.
Yeah, it looks like he will be uncontested. Looks like trying to find answer here. Ball lane. Actually, W going to come down here on Fresh. Will be rooted up here. He's going to come through. Will Fresh survive this? Auto going to come through. No, he will find the kill. Stun going to come through anyway, but not going to be enough. So a kill early on here by the bot lane. Oh, it's going to be engaged here. Dragon Kim going to try and go for that, but Smite not going to come through. Level 3. They're going to go for the dive here. Maybe in bot lane. No, they're not. Dragon Kim still getting dragged back here. Ricky going to try and find the Q. Yes, he does. Gets the slow on Dragon Kim. Dragon Kim trying to walk away, but it's not going to be enough. Hook going to come through. Q going to find him. Ehug another kill, and this jungle gap grows even larger.
I feel like Ehug picked the Darius purely just to be like, all right, I'm going to have fun this game because I know what I'm doing. So I can do this.
Well, I think it's a really good job because it shows you the study on base state, right? They
Yeah.
know when they go for this Jarvan, they start in the top lane, and the fact that they're aware of that, they send Mundo and Darius to that answer back, goes to this bot lane, knows exactly what this Jarvan pattern is going to be. It's just
For sure.
400 IQ in the jungle, and now the Jarvan at 0-2 with 8 farm to start off this game. You're so monumentally behind now, and Ricky literally just walking all over Bench here. Bench, not a lot of mana to fight back, and it's Ricky so much damage here early. Gonna get another auto down here. Q, not gonna find it. Will he land it? No, not gonna find that one. But yeah, gonna be collapsed on here in the jungle, level 2, and that's gonna be Sarnok trying to find this. Can dodge a Q out. Hook gonna come through. That's gonna be a shutdown for this Jarvan. Zephyros, no mana. They're gonna try and walk away from this one. Has the flash available here. EQ gonna land though. Zephyros gonna be forced to use his passive to try and walk out of this one. Still has flash. Patiently waiting for that one to come out here. Will survive this, so we'll be able to use a summoner, but a shutdown onto this Jarvan is massive.
Yeah, it looked like the Ricky tried to go in on the Jace top lane underneath the turret and ended up dying to him. So we ended up losing 2 people there instead of just the 1.
And the problem right now is Mundo's helped out so much with this jungler. Now he's only at 13 farm. Jace at 34 farm. Now that he got that solo kill, really far ahead in this top lane. Has that lethality built up already as well as the tier. So despite the fact that Ehud got ahead early game, it did cost a lot for Ricky here. And I mean, obviously Mundo can fight back pretty well. He can survive with a lot of sustain in lane, but a losing bot lane as well does mean it's going to be a little bit more rough here for St. Clair in the early game.
And it looks like they're just going to try and even things out. Jinx is trying to get some farm under turret. Zephyros here is going to try and go in with the Darius with Ehug. And 2 flashes were used. No one landed their CC.
Yeah, really good sidestep there by Sarnok. Able to dodge out of not only the root, but also the hook from the side of Darius coming in there. Root going to come down. That's so much damage on a Barlow. Ignite going to come down. Brain fighting that kill. Jurassic going to go in for the last hit, but he will cost him his life. Fresh going to find that kill back.
Nice.
Exhaust coming down. He will survive here. So in the end, it is a trade 1 for 1. Brain maybe wants to go for this kill. Doesn't have a jungler around him though, so won't opt to go for it under turret. And in the end, a 1 for 1 actually. Somehow bot lane fight saved there by the turret.
It definitely worked out in Jinx's favor, though, knowing that the Jinx ended up getting the kill instead of the Braum. So that will give her a little bit more gold, and she's able to get Noon Quiver with that, while Zaya just has her pickaxe, longsword, and boots.
Fresh looking like he wants to try and stack those passive pieces up. Jinx will be back here in just a second, so if he can land this Q, get the stun off, could be free kill. Dive going to come through in the top lane, though. Both junglers going to be here, as well as the mid laner. Serenov knew this was coming. Ricky going to be taken down here in just a second. Ult going to come through. Double kill for this Jace, and St. Clair with some good activity in the map, but Serenok able to be there in time. And again, just in this game, the fact that Serenok is roaming and countering exactly what St. Clair wants to do is huge, because you had such a big lead for this Darius, but now has died twice here. Ricky also dying twice in the top lane, and the early game advantage St. Clair build up is just erased.
For sure. And it looks like the Blanca's going to try and go in on the J4 here. Knowing that he just used this pull, she's going to go in and land both Qs and land the E and manage to get him with Electrocute.
That is a really good answer. And I mean, right now, I think the Jarvan's still pretty far behind jungle-wise, but rest of his lane's sort of catching up, actually.
I'm surprised that the LeBlanc didn't take the red buff real quick because it looked like she was going to be able to, but also I could tell that they might have ended up collapsing on her if she stayed any longer than she was supposed to.
And I think the thing is too is the dragon's up, right? So if LeBlanc takes that, if they go for the dragon on reset from the jungler, it could be bad. Brain gonna try and walk away here. Has 3 stacks. Stun gonna land. Zephyr gonna go in, but not gonna be able to land the chains here. Silence gonna come down here for just a second. Zephyr trying to walk away here. Will be able to escape, go back to the minions, but it does mean Xayah has an angle here to collapse, but they don't know Eug is up in this jungle, taking the blue buff, so it will be a 3v3 here. Jarvan nowhere to be found. Do they want to fight it? No, they don't.
Looks like they were just going to try and get Scuttle to get some vision for the drag, while Ricky is trying his best to keep top lane in his spot.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, small advantage so far in the early game. Obviously, Eug over Dragon here, but elsewhere, advantage obviously in the top lane. 15 CS, 2 kills for this Jarvan. Serenok, again, looking to go towards his top lane. Herald will be taken here by these 2 members. And St. Clair, knowing that this mid laner has probably gone top, might look towards this Dragon here, but looks like LeBlanc going to be roaming, trying to find an answer. Barlow, level 6, but Brain going to land the knock up here. No flash available, or flash is available actually for Jinx. We'll just use the heal. So we'll be caught in the root there, but Braum not quite here just yet.
Good damage output
here.
for the
This could be a 3v3. Rift Herald actually stolen by Ricky.
Oh my god.
And they get the kill as well. Bench going to be hooked up here. That is a complete turnaround for St. Clair in this game. Trying to go down. Shutdown going to be found by Ehug there. And just like that, the game turns completely on its head. St. Clair steal that Herald and find 2 kills. And I have no clue how he took that.
I have no idea either. I didn't even see what it was. I think it might have been a Q.
He did fly. He has flashed down, so he flashed for it. But I have no clue how he did it there. That's incredible play, and that is the heroics you want to see from Ricky, because right now he has just been struggling in his top lane. He found that early advantage for Eug, but himself individually has just not been having the greatest game so far. And the fact that he steals that one, gets a kill for his jungler and for his mid laner. Now 201 with a 15 CS lead for this LeBlanc. It's looking scary.
For sure. And now that the Mundo has Rift Herald, he's able to push that turret down and is able to hopefully roam or either just stay top. And I feel like, honestly, in this situation, it might be best to take the turret early and try and roam back down to bot in order for the drag.
Yeah, reset will be faster here for the side of Bay State, so they are going to be looking towards that dragon when St. Clair is aware. They're going to try and bait this one out in the bush. When the Serenok's ult available here, they can definitely catch the first person who walks in here. It will be Zephyr. Will he be smart to this collapse? Yes, he will. He's going to back off here. Doesn't want to walk up Ehug. Oh, he's in a dangerous spot, though. Doesn't know Dragon's here. Charm going to come through. EQ going to knock up as well. Suppress going to come down onto Ehug. Darius still living here. Doesn't get the Q off. No healing, though. It does mean 2 kills. Going to go over to Bay State. Stun going to come through for Barlow, doing a lot of damage to Jarvan, actually. Ricky going to be here with the TP as well. Going to try and find this Jarvan. Jarvan barely living. No, the Q going to find him, actually. Barlow going to get the jungler. They're going to try and chase this one, though. Going to have to be careful. Jurassic going to be here. Exhaust going to come down. Barlow going to dodge out of the W, but he has 2 people on him. Barlow going to go down here in just a second. Brain somehow barely living. Bedge going to find a kill as well. Zephyr going to go in, going to find a kill. Will he pick the right one? Yes, he will. Trying to get advantage there. Ricky still somehow alive. All going to come through, but not going to catch anything with it. Jurassic not going to be able to find it. Ricky going to find the cube, but Bedge going to be here. Ricky going to have to be careful. Knockup not going to come through. Ricky going to go down here. Bedge going to find that kill. So in the end, it is a 3-for-2 for Bay State, but they do deny the dragon for the moment.
LeBlanc didn't end up surviving, which is a good thing because now he does have a bounty on his head. And it looks like it looks like Bay State might be heading back down for the drag because they know that the mid laner is still low. But the thing is, she still has that one-shot potential where she can get in and out in an instant. So it's going to be very interesting.
Ooh, Yuck, actually going to smite away this Scuttle. We'll claim that one up. There's going to be a lot of people here, though. Some damage going down here onto Malzahar, but he will walk away. Chain's going to land, actually, but LeBlanc playing with fire. Zephyr out very low and has no TP up just yet, so looks like they will try and force out this dragon. They realize that Zephyr is very low and has to back for a reset here, so they will end up giving up this dragon in the end, but it is pretty late. 11 minutes and 45 seconds on that first dragon, so Soul going to be not there for quite some time.
For sure. The Rakan's going to use Flash and use his W and ulti and try and charm the Jinx. Braum is able to hold up the Xayah from all of her feathers, so she's not able to have any kind of damage on the Jinx and has to use his Flash to get out. Yeah,
I think that Flash was a little bit too late. I think if the root would have come through, definitely would have been able to Flash run out. And no CC available, so I think you would have been on the look at that. I mean, a preemptive Flash. Obviously, game's still very, very close. 300 gold difference between these two teams. And I mean, intense, crazy series so far. And very explosive early game. 12 minutes in, we have 19 kills.
It's
All
kind
gonna
of
find
insane.
Xayah though. That is massive. Jurassic gonna be stunned up here. 2 stacks, 3 stacks procced, but no stun gonna come through. Oh, the E is so big. EUG gonna be here for an answer, trying to find Jurassic here. Dunk available in just a second. You will get that one. Reset there in top lane. Bedge gonna stop Ricky's TP as well. Gonna go for a fight here. Bedge not quite winning this one. Healing, no. The auto gonna find him there. And it will be a trade across the map in the end. 3 for 2 again for Bay State.
This is getting this is becoming an extremely bloody game of League of Legends.
Oh, Dragon Kim has the EQ available here. We'll get Zephrot actually somehow with it. We'll get the knock-up. Gonna go for the R as well. Zephrot proccing the clone there. Ia gonna be here available. The spell shield gonna go down here. Serenok gonna be taken down in just a second. Zephrot not gonna get traded out either. So really, really good job there. Zephrot able to survive and able to get out with a kill onto the mid laner.
For sure. This game is actually looking really clean for the mid laner Zephrot today. He's 4-0 up about like 5 CS. And it's looking pretty good for him. It looks like him and Darius are gonna be the main carries of the game. As Jinx is the weird thing about Jinx is that has the Braum and it's really good, but we see the Rakan going in with the ulti here and the W, but isn't able to get any kind of damage off. Zai's going to try and E and stop the Braum from moving in. Jinx is going to stun her and be able to save both of them and walk away for free.
And that's the power play of the fact that you are up an item, right? You see this, Xayah already has this Kraken built, whereas Jinx still hasn't gone for that reset, hasn't been able to pick up that item just yet. So try to make a practice play. Really good job by Fresh there, just literally walking 2 feet away from the Xayah, throwing up the shield, not allowing any autos to come through there. But this bot lane just doing so much damage right now for the side of Bay State. Serenok going to be chipped down quite low here, down to half HP by the LeBlanc, and right now, so much damage for Zephrot.
The one thing that I am worried about is that if the LeBlanc keeps roaming, the Malzahar is just going to completely farm, and he wouldn't go anywhere else, because I've had those games where, oh, there is a dive going on. We're going to see the Jace going in the Darius. The Mundo is taking the turret and was able to get the shutdown on Jace after he flashes out a turret and lives.
That's the important thing. He does live there, and it does mean they will both be able to push this turret because of the healing that Ricky has with that passive. So they are going to get the kill. TP not available yet for Jace, so it does mean most likely a free turret here in top lane for this Mundo. Actually, there's not too much damage on it, so Mundo will opt to back here. And looks like because the turret went down in bot lane in the meanwhile, they will lane swap, and bot will go to top and try and take this upper turret for Bay State as well.
Yeah, I wonder where they're going to use the Rift this time. It did look like they used the Rift top, I'm assuming. I didn't catch where it was dropped.
Exactly. I think it was bot lane actually most likely would have been able to take the turret there, but
looks like they're going to try and collapse on the Braum and Mundo here with the LeBlanc and Malzahar walking up at the same time. Rakan goes in and charms both of them as the Malzahar finally gets to them, is able to get some damage in and ults the LeBlanc, which ends up getting killed by Jace.
Yeah, that is a kill there over, and that is the power of the R and a strong Jace. Jurassic gonna find Fresh as well. 2 kills over. They did get Herald, but at what cost? The shutdown going over as well is so big. This Jace 7-3-1 started off by dying twice, but ends up turning this game completely around and is now 7-3-1. We'll have a second item when he backs here, but Dragon King caught out. EQ gonna come through. Brainy in a bad spot, but does have W and E, so we'll be able to get over this wall if he needs to. And Serenok and Bedge just shoving out this mid lane. There's nothing that St. Clair can do to stop it. They will claim it, so all 3 outers down now for St. Clair.
It's definitely going to be a hard game to come back from. They did really well in the beginning, and then just that dive top really put them in a bad spot, especially him, Iha getting caught at the Raptors pit on red top side.
Yeah, and I mean, despite the fact that there is no kills over his Malzahar, he's 8 assists. He's been everywhere around the map, been helping out his jungler, helping out his top laner, even helping out the bot lane once. So the fact that he's able to be available all over is so good, and that is the power of Malzahar, right? You have this incredible wave clear, and into a LeBlanc especially, it's so hard to actually counter what he wants, what you want to do, because you can't really roam if your wave is getting constantly shoved in. It makes it so difficult. And Herald will be popped here in the mid lane, will get a charge off, but no plates available anymore, so won't do anything more than just shove down the turret. That's so much damage! Zephrot finds a kill on Xayah instantly. Dragon gonna be hooked up as well. 2 stacks on him, but stun will not come down, but that's gonna be a lot of damage out of Bedge here. Looking for a collapse from the Rakan as well, but Fresh gonna have to walk away. Ricky gonna pop the ult here. Barlow's so low. Ricky, or Support gonna find 3, a beautiful knock up there, gonna find 3 more. Dragon gonna get the Gore Drinker kill. Eug somehow still alive in this fight. Zephrot too, they will find a kill, trying to turn this one around, but so many low HP bars. They're trying to turn this one around, but Can they contest this Dragon? Brainy still the only one at relatively full HP here. Sephiroth about 3/4, but everyone else is low. Sephiroth going for the pick, but Malzahar with the ult still available. Gonna be able to find the kill. Mundo trying to walk away here, but can they escape this? Yug, so much damage on it. Brainy though. Brainy low. Everyone is low. Double kill. Triple kill for Bench here. Quadra kill for Bench. Finds everyone in that fight, and they will claim the Dragon as well. This top laner, 11-3, has made such a huge difference for Bay State in this series, and is making a huge statement here in game number 3.
This Jace definitely knows what he's doing, and it kind of sucks that they were so low and weren't able to help out the LeBlanc go in. I saw the Malzahar use his ulti previously, so I would honestly give props to Sephiroth for trying his best to get the kill on Jace in order to get some of the major people out to try and get that drag.
It was such a close fight, but I think the real difference maker there was the fact that they found that kill with a really, really good initiation by Brainy, right? Like, he found a 3-man charm and then 2-man knockup. They were able to take out Barlow really, really early on. And him going down in that fight is so big because if he's available, if he has rockets, he takes out 2 or 3 members there and he's able to clean up that fight completely. But the fact that they got that pick, despite, like, I mean, it cost them their jungler, right? Like, you couldn't secure the Dragon anymore because you went for that pick, but they ended up winning the fight anyway. They got the Dragon in the end, and now at 11-3-2 Jace is going to be such a huge problem for St. Clair because he's just so ahead of the curve right now.
Yes, let's look at the overall scores again. So we have 15 kills to 20 kills, and St. Clair is down 4k gold, but just wait a second because it looks like the Jace is going to try and go in on the LeBlanc, but the LeBlanc juked him out. Rakan's following up slowly behind and is able to use the W twice in order to get away.
They're still going to chase though, but in the end, Sephiroth able to escape there. And I mean, even just that Q, without even a gate, was half of Sephiroth's HP bar. That is so difficult to deal with if you're the side of St. Clair, right? Like, the fact that LeBlanc is supposed to be your poke and the Jace is out poking her is just hard to deal with. And all turrets still alive here for the side of Bay State. All their outers, so they can just keep constantly pushing out. And when you have a Jace, when you have a Malzahar, like, there's just no answer for this wave clear from the side of St. Clair. So still, as long as the outers are going to be up, I think the advantage in the macro game is still going to be heavily in St. Clair's favor. Or, sorry, in Bay State's favor.
Looks like they did end up getting mid turret, and because we have Ehug and Ricky top lane, they aren't able to defend. Braum is walking up to try and tank all the damage he could. I'm assuming as Jinx is trying to farm from very far back. There's not much we can do here in order to stop them, as they do end up getting the second outer turret bot.
Yeah, it looks like they are looking towards this Baron here, and the game, the gold state right now about 6k difference, so it is pretty decently big, but a lot of that is going to be on this Jace. So if you can find a kill on this Jace, I think St. Clair definitely can win this fight, but he's going to be an instrumental part of how this game plays out because he is 11 and he has all the power in the early game right now, and he's going to be the difference maker. When this mana immune gets upgraded, it is going to be a crazy power spike, crazy item spike for him, and he's really going to dictate these fights.
For sure. I feel like I kind of jinxed it by saying, like, Jace is a weird pick. He's not going to do damage.
He's arcane buffed. He's not.
Look
a
what
weird
happened
pick.
now.
He's so strong. Ehug coming through the chem fog though, gonna find one, but there's 3 people on the other side of this fight. Ehug, he's gonna be charmed up here. Will be rooted here in just a second. Yeah, he will be taking. Oh, he's gonna live actually. Sterik's gonna come through, gonna keep him alive here. We'll have his team coming through. They're gonna find that kill, turn this fight around. He will be taken down in the end, but it will be at the cost of 2 members from the side of Bay State. Somehow he lived there, and his teammates all came to his aid, able to help him out. It does cost him his life, but it did cost him 2. So St. Clair looks like they might want to fight this. It is 4v3, but as we talked about, Bedge is so strong right now. 3 items. Shireldi is completed on Bedge. He is a menace here. And if they want to fight, they have to take him out early because he's going to be doing so much in this fight. Looks like Collapse will come through. Jurassic going to come in, but that's going to be an ult down. Already Sephiroth being pushed down to 0 HP. Jurassic going to be found as well. They will try and go on a Serenok here. Burned down. Fresh going to try and find the Q. Doesn't land. Serenok trying to escape here. Gale Force going to be found. Will flash out here. Fresh trying to walk forward to find Serenok, but Serenok able to walk away. Q going to land, but not going to be enough damage here. They will find the kill in the end, so Serenok somehow surviving that one, able to escape, and 3 more kills picked up for Bay State. I mean, that was such a... Oh, and Mundo's going to walk in there, going to find the kill. Yug wants to go for this fight, but he doesn't realize this Jace is so powerful. Yug going to go for the Q. Q going to land, actually. Yug could go for the dunk, but he's going to flash out. Doesn't have it available, and that will mean he will go down. Ace coming through. Bedge still alive, and that means they will go for this Baron. And St. Clair tried. They did have a 43 advantage in this fight, but just brilliantly played by Serenok there, just on the very edge of his range, able to win that one out.
This one is definitely going to be a hard game to come back by. I wish that Jinx would have just followed the Bramble a little bit more because he did end up landing his Q, so if the Jinx just W'd right after, that would have been a free kill and a very small shutdown too. But either way, it would have been extra gold regardless.
Yeah, and it is very difficult though because the Malzahar minions just keep adhering, so if the W was hit by any of those, it would have meant the goes over. But a Baron now for the side of Bay State. They do pick up that objective, and objective bounty is now available for St. Clair as well to try and pick up because 8k gold behind. I mean, like I said, a lot of it is going to be on this Jace. 15, 3, and 4, going to be at almost 4 items here. And I mean, St. Clair and Mundo just picked up a second one, does get the Ananthias. I can never remember how to say that item name. But the chains are here, and I'm expecting those to be on. Oh, look at St. Clair actually going to take this dragon, so they will be able to take it. Can they escape out of this one? That is going to be the question. No, not going to let him run. Shirelias will be popped here. They will try and chase this one. Zephyrock going to dodge away from that one. Ricky trying to stay alive here, but I think they will sacrifice this top laner for it. Ricky going to try and survive, going to try and walk away for as long as possible. He's still living here somehow. I don't know how. Just keep walking along. He's taking a phone call, but that is going to be Jurassic going to take out Ricky in the end. They do get the dragon, but it does cost them their top lane. With the Baron available, is they can keep pushing this one, maybe even look for an inhibitor.
This game has definitely taken the turn for the worst. As I said, this Bay State's team was so well put together. They basically channeled all of their ultis together, just like what I was saying earlier. And I am for St. Clair. I want them to win, but it, like, you could see it coming from a mile away.
Yeah, for sure. Gold lead widens to 9k between these teams. Now Zephyrock going to get quite a bit of disadvantage, and he's going to get the shutdown. That is a massive shutdown onto this Jace. Engaging come through in the bot lane. Fresh trying to get on top of them. They're going to be at a player advantage for the moment here. A lot of damage coming through, but Jurassic doing so much in this fight here. Serenok going to be knocked down. Fresh going to fall down as well. Barlow trying to escape Jurassic here. Jurassic going to pop the ult here, but on the backside, Ricky trying to find this last kill. Triple kill coming through for the Xayah. A fourth going to come through, and that is going to be the last fight of the game. Zephyr going to be able to escape, but they tried to start a fight after a nice pick, but it didn't matter. Xayah is so fed right now. Hit that 2-item spike and just popped off. That is going to be the end of game number 2. A good attempt there by St. Clair. Shutdown going to come through actually here, but Zephyr going to be taken out here. Yeah, there will be an ace coming through, and that is going to be the end of the game here, I believe, if they can get these minions in. I don't know, actually. There's a couple members coming back for St. Clair, so I don't think it's over, actually. They will be forced off of this Nexus, so they don't end up getting this win just yet. Yeah, going to be walking forward here in just a second. Not going to be able to find the kill, though. They will be able to walk out. Jinx Rock are not going to make contact. Brainy just barely living here. They will try and chase him out, but it'll be tough for them to find it. TP going to come through for Jace as well, trying to find that top lane turret. And, I mean, yes, they didn't end up getting that Nexus, but being ahead 11k gold at this point, I still think it's going to be really, really hard for St. Clair to come back.
It's definitely going to be a challenge for them, especially that they have an open Nexus now. And with the Jace and Malzahar having TP, they can backdoor anytime they want, really.
Yeah, for sure. Some poke coming down here in the top lane, but Jace still so fed. Flash ulti going to come through, and Zephyrock going to go down here in just 1 second. They will try and fight back here. Serenok, no spell shield available, so it will be stunned up here in just a second. They're going to find that knockdown. That will be a kill. A shutdown coming through for Jinx, actually. That is massive. They can try and chase out this Jace. Jace, very low HP. Will be hitting some minions here, but they will end up electing back off. And the problem is you have minions on your Nexus right now. You have to respect the fact that Xayah can walk in and just 2-hit your Nexus.
This is definitely not the way that I expected this game to go. And the Rakan goes in on here, tries to do some damage to the Mundo, but isn't able to. Xayah just going to focus on the inhib. And it looks like they're just going to try and get the top one down so that then they can have all the super minions they possibly could to just close out this game. 3
inhibs are going to be down here in just a second. This has to be their last ditch effort. This has to be the last fight. There isn't a mid laner here, so they do have a player advantage, but 3 inhibs now down. They have to force this one out because if they push on it, they are going to force it out. Brainy going to go into the back line here. Will be stopwatched up. Jurassic going to find fresh early on, but they will get an answer back, actually. Triple kill for the Xayah really early on, though. They will find an answer back. Brainy going to dodge out of the queue, though. Shutdown coming through again, but Brainy going to be knocked up here. Dragon King doing a lot of damage to Zephyr. Zephyr trying to escape. Not going to get the kill on Jurassic. No, not going to find it. That's going to be just the Jinx live. Flash going to come through. Shutdown going to be found for Barlow, though. Still a decent amount of damage, but can he survive against 3 people and an open Nexus? No, I don't think he will. Otto's going to come through, but he will be knocked up here, will be ignited, and will be taken down. The last hope of St. Clair is taken down, and that is going to be game 2 going to Bay State. A very, very bloodthirsty one at that. 60 kills in 27 minutes, but in the end, Bay State reigns supreme, and they go on to match point.
This is definitely going to be an interesting match point.
Yeah.
Again, I was kind of expecting all the alts to be synced together, but I wasn't expecting it to go that south. They were doing so well at the start.
Yeah, I think they were doing so well at the start, but at that point, Bay State, I kind of figured out what they were trying to do, and EHUG got
Mhm.
caught out on that invade on the third one he did. And I mean, again, it's just Ricky going into these fights and constantly losing, right? Like he goes for
Yeah.
these crazy 1v1s, and yes, it is very feast or famine with Ricky. If he wins it, he
Mhm.
pops off, he carries the game. But like we see in this game, he lost it, and really that was the difference maker in this game, was the fact that this Jace was so fed out of the top lane.
For
Once
sure.
he started roaming, like he was doing so much damage, and no matter what Zephyros or Barlow could throw at them, it didn't matter because Bedge could match it and do way more than they could. And Ricky is
Mhm.
just a giant meatball in these fights. He isn't really doing a lot of damage. So, unfortunately, a really good active early game. And I think the Darius pick was actually pretty good for St. Clair. I think
Yeah,
it
for
looked
sure.
well, but again, it was just Bedge getting ahead on this Jace that made the difference.
I definitely agree. I respect Ehug for all the effort that he put into that, but it was definitely that he didn't space it out, like space the time when he was trying to invade
Hmm.
at the right, points throughout the game. Because I feel like if he did space them out good enough, they would look to see if he's there, but then they'd be like, "Oh, he's not, so he's not gonna do it anymore," and then he can go back in.
Yeah, I think too a pair of triple kills in that fight, especially in the bot lane fight when Baron was up. Like
Mhm.
Zephyros able to take out Bedge on the other side, getting a solo kill on him was huge. They were fighting
Yeah.
a 4v5, but somehow he was able to thread the needle there, able to get that final kill on Jinx, pick up the triple.
Mhm.
And I mean, both times in those last two major team fights, somehow the ADC, the Xayah, was able to find a triple kill. And the Jurassic just was the
For
difference maker
sure.
in those late game fights.
It's definitely a sad way that the game went because they tried their best. They had a really good comp. I still
Yeah.
like their team that St. Clair did, but
Yeah, that is going to be it, though. Game number 2, going to Bay State. They go to match point here in the grand finals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with game number 4 in just a moment.
Has this ever happened to you? You tune in to watch Saints Gaming compete at your favorite title, but you end up missing it. Scrolling through Twitter to find results is just such a chore, and it looks like there's no easy way to find out everything you've missed. Luckily, there's a solution. Hi, Millie Bays here, and I'd like to introduce you to St. Clair's Bird's Eye View, the #1 show to keep up with everything about Saints Gaming. Get weekly recaps, see great highlights, hear exclusive interviews with players and staff, and so much more. That's Bird's Eye View, available in podcast or video form at a website near you.